What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Here in today's video, it's going to be a little bit of a different one. This is more aimed towards people who are playing on a server or trying to start a server for MCE. Now, lag. Lag is always going to be an issue when you're playing on a mod pack that is this large, but there are a few things that we can go over before we get into the main portion of this video. Things to avoid are like dragon skulls. So let's say you have a dragon skull, not the Ender Dragon, but like the actual dragon skulls here. So let's say you have these placed all over the world, trying to flex how many dragons you've killed. Those are going to cause a bit of lag. They're just weird. Try to avoid placing them. Another thing you're going to want to avoid is anything to do with cyclic. So if we type in at cyclic here, try your best to avoid all of this, like item transfer node, like where are they? Yeah, so all of these things, so item transfer node, energy transfer node, even their conduits like these energy extraction, energy cables, all of this stuff, try your best to avoid using them in your worlds. It's going to also cause a bunch of lag. And there are several other things that I haven't, ran into, but there are lots of things I would suggest looking up or maybe joining the Discord and asking, like, what are some things that cause lag? Um, Now that's all fine and dandy. You're not going to completely kill your server by having a few cyclic things around. The main issue when it comes to playing MCE on a server is exploration and chunk loading. So if you've ever been on the server by yourself, you probably notice that it's not that laggy. Especially if you're just chilling in your base, kind of just moving around, doing stuff, auto crafting and things of that nature. But when you go off and you start exploring, you're loading a bunch of chunks and you're generating a bunch of chunks. That's really what's going to be super taxing on your server's RAM. So there is a mod in the pack that will actually kind of preload chunks for you. So it is going to take some setup time, but chunk Pregenerator here is going to basically generate those chunks for you before you walk into them, if that makes sense. So imagine it's like an AI machine that's walking around the world, going to every chunk one by one and generating it for you. Because when you're out exploring, not only are you loading a new chunk, like if I just started flying over here and off in my chunk render, not only is it trying to load that chunk so I can enter it, but it's generating it if I've never been there before. Um, so that's an issue because it's gonna crush the RAM. Now, if you're just loading into a chunk that you've already generated, it's not that bad. But if you're generating new chunks, and especially if you have a couple friends on, let's say some are in the end, some are in the nether, and you're all not only loading chunks but generating chunks, it's gonna cause a lot of lag. So let's quickly get into the chunk pre-generator commands because they are a little confusing. There are better ways to do this, but unfortunately MCE is running a legacy version of the mod, so it kind of conflicts with a lot of the information that you're going to find on the internet. This way that I'm doing it is the best that I have found. If you know a better way, then I'm not sure why you're watching the video, but let me quickly explain to you guys how we're going to set this up. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set a world border. Now, I know that might turn a couple people off. You might think like, oh, I don't want to have a finite world. Well, the truth of the matter is that your world is already finite. The default settings for your world border are like 6 million blocks. So you can go 3 million blocks anyway, northwest, east, south, however you want to cut it. You can only ever go 3 million blocks away. So that's a ton of blocks, and you can set your world border to whatever you want. But the more you set the larger you set it, the longer it's going to take to pre-generate everything. Now, with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and give you some examples here. So we're going to want to set our world border center. So let's just do world border. And then we want to change our center, and I'm going to change it to exactly where I'm standing. So that's going to be 868 and negative 106. And boom, that's the center of our world border. You can set this wherever you want. You can set it at 0, 0, at world spawn, at where you're standing. It's not super important. What is important, however, is setting the world border itself. So if we do world border, and then we're going to want to set this. Now, This is the part where it really is up to user discretion. How big do you want your border to be? On my server that I've been playing on, I'm currently going through this right now because I was just having a ton of lag issues. I just found out about this whole mod, and I decided to set mine at, I believe, 200,000. Or not 200, wait. Did I do 200,000? I believe so. So let's not do that for this server because it's going to crash my PC. But what we'll do for a quick example is we'll just do like, maybe 50,000, right? So that means I can walk 25,000 north, east, south, or west. So boom, we got 50,000. And now if I were to walk over here, and it's not 50,000, it would be 25,000 blocks that way. And that's a pretty sizable bit of chunks there. We'll have a lot to work with. So what we're going to want to do is do /pregen. This is going to prompt a bunch of different commands, and what we're going to want to start is a gen, and then we want it to be start world border here. Let's see, where is it? Start world border. But before that, we want to set up some commands that are going to speed up the process. So if you're not going to be playing on the server itself, then it would be a wise idea to set up these commands that I'm about to show you, that it's going to speed everything up. So it's going to cause a ton of lag for you if you're trying to play, but if you want to just speed everything up, then these commands will make it to where you're not having to wait around for the chunks to preload. So let's go through those really quick. And it's going to be time per tick, so we want to set this to 250. They say on the wiki that you can go over 250, but it's going to crash. It's going to crash your server. So we only want it to be /pregen time per tick 250. We got that set. The next thing we're going to want to do is pregen, and there is a utilities command here. So utils, and then we want to do set player limit, no, set priority. And if we set priority, you can have it, it's defaulted to set priority for the game. So that means it's going to prioritize sending RAM to people playing on the server. It'll make it not lag as much, but it's going to slow down the actual chunk loading process. If we set the priority to Pregenerator, it's going to give all of the prio to the Pregenerator itself, and it's going to cause some lag for anyone who's playing the server, but it's going to complete the process a lot faster. So got that out of the way. Now we can go ahead and start our pre-generation, and this is very simple. If you have your world border set, you just want to press gen and then start world border. Boom. So we start that, and as you can see, it's already causing a ton of lag for me here. I'm hoping it doesn't crash anything. Yeah, okay, there we go. And it's at about half of the RAM that we've got. So it's gonna load 2 million chunks there, as you can see. 2,468,266 chunks down there in the bottom. And if you want to be able to see all of that, we're gonna have to go into some controls here. And let's find chunk preloader under this. Let's see, that's creative mode. Chunk preload or chunk pregenerator, my bad. And you can set this to whatever you want. It's just going to bring up the GUI. I have mine to numpad 6, and you're going to want to enable tracker UI. You can disable it, but I like to have it enabled. What did I do? Enable. There you go. And enable the tracker is going to show us that down there. So yeah, very nice, very nice. And what you're going to want to do is basically, I can't log off, because if I log off, then it's just going to shut down the server because I'm on a private server, like a local server. But if you have, something through Apex hosting or whatever, whoever's hosting your server, you can kind of just log off of your world, monitor it through the server console itself, and it just make sure it doesn't crash, because if the server crashes or goes down, it's going to completely erase the process. And if you do scheduled server maintenance, you will have to redo these commands. So that's not great news, but the good news is that once you've already preloaded the chunks, there's like soft memory for the mod itself, and it will be able to get through it a lot faster if it's already kind of loaded those chunks before or generated those chunks before, if that makes sense. So I hope this helps you guys. If you have the time to spare, maybe ask your server host, or if you're the host yourself, run these commands, log off your server, and then what I've been doing is actually exactly this. I'm running this on my server right now, and I'm here in a creative world just kind of tinkering around, messing around with nuclear generator designs, Tinker's Armory, and stuff like that. But enough yapping. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope it helps you with your server lag issues, because I can tell you from firsthand experience, it's no fun lagging on your server when you're just trying to play with friends. So, yep, that's going to do it for this one. Like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace.